Hello and welcome back to Picture Class. We are in week 2 or episode 2, whatever you want to call it. It's 2. Alright, so we are going to be talking about Charade today from 1963. It has a 7.9 on the Internet Movie Database, 94% on Rotten Tomatoes, 92% for the audience, 94% for the critics. It is available on streaming in Tubi, Movie, Classic, Prime, Plex, Pluto, and Vudu. Whew. That means it's public domain because it's on all of these streaming sites. That's not actually what it means. The fact that it's public domain is why it's on all these streaming sites. What does public domain mean? Well, it means exactly as it means. Public domain. Anybody can make a film of this, or not a film, they can make a release of it. So if you wanted to screen it or put a DVD out, VHS, whatever the hell you want to do, it's public domain. Why, you might ask? Because in the opening credits there is a lack of a copyright notice, and someone must have gotten fired for Universal because basically they're no longer the sole rights owner to the film, so anyone could do it. Warner Brothers could release it if they really wanted to. I don't see why they would, but wouldn't that be an interesting version? Well, we're going to do our bonus features, and we're going to do our bonus features. But when it comes down to it, how many people are really going to buy a DVD or Blu-ray or even a 4K release of this movie? Well, the Criterion Collection thought so. That's how I first was introduced to this movie around 2009. This has Audrey Hepburn, Cary Grant, George Kennedy, James Coburn, and Walter Matthau. It was made in 1963 by Stanley Donen, who also produced it. He also directed it. It's a very, very fun movie. A man is thrown off a train.
You're crazy.
He is dead, and then Audrey Hepburn is his wife, finds out that he was somebody else her whole life, and now she gets involved in this whole scheme because he has money, and they all think he left it to her, but she doesn't have it. So the movie is a thriller, comedy, romance. It has all these different twists and turns. It is a very, very well-made movie. It was called the best film Hitchcock never made, although it doesn't, like, if you know Hitchcock films, you know he didn't shoot it. But at the same time, it has that flavor, but it also has a very James Bond flavor. Cary Grant could have been James Bond if James Bond was like 10 or 20 years earlier. As you can see in this movie, he's a little older, but Cary Grant's still going to be Cary Grant, even though one of my favorite quotes that he said was, everyone's always talking about Cary Grant, or something. He didn't even know who Cary Grant was because it was an alias to him. It wasn't who he was.
Do we know each other?
Why do you think we're going to?
I don't know. How would I know?
Because I already know an awful lot of people, and until one of them dies, I couldn't possibly meet anyone else.
There's a danger to the characters, but they're always very funny. Walter Matthau is very good in this movie. Walter Matthau was, Mr. Wilson in Dennis the Menace, the film. He was also best known for all of his collaborations with Jack Lemmon and Billy Wilder. The Fortune Cookie, and Fortune Cookie is the only one that always comes to mind. Not the front. I can't even remember the other movies. They have a few movies, and Fortune Cookie is always the one that comes to mind. If you've never watched a movie outside your birth year, I've had people say, I can't watch any movies that were made before I was born. I kind of get that, but at the same time, once you cross over and know that there's movies that can entertain you that were made in a different time period, once you can get over that, then the world is yours, or in terms of cinema. So anyway, I highly recommend you give this film a watch, a spin, whatever you'd like to call it. What movies would you like to see in the future? We have covered the 1960s and the 80s, so that leaves the 50s, 40s, 30s, 20s, 10s, 1900s, and 1890s. Put in the comments, write me an email at qualityattempted@gmail.com. Give us a follow on Instagram at qualityattempted. Of course, quality is always attempted here. Do we always succeed? No, but we always do try. Hence the term quality attempted. Give this video a like, a share, subscribe, and I've been Julian, you've been there, and this has been Picture Class. Thank you so much for watching. Stay tuned for more great content. Oh, I hate that word, content. Me and Joe Bob Briggs, we both hate that word, content. But I only hate it because he said it first, so I'm copying it from him. It's art. It's work. It's theater. It's le cinéma. It's